Hey there guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining for another one. I had a old friend who recently lost the mask for his Gransfors small forest axe. And this is a pretty commonly used axe. I figure this is probably a pretty common situation. He's probably not the only one to have lost that bit of kit, and he asked me to make him a new one. So I had a bit of spare leather and a bit of spare time, so I was going to go ahead and throw him together a new sheath, or mask as it's sometimes called for an axe. So I figured I would take you guys along for the journey, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll see how it goes, as always. Alrighty, so the first step is going to be to trace out a template for our axe sheath using the actual axe itself. I got a bit of paperboard here that I think will be about perfect. It'll be a bit stiffer, so it'll help when tracing the pattern itself. Okay, to start, I want this sheath to cover the full cheek of the axe. So I'm going to start just a quick mark there and a quick mark out at the end. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Such that now we have the width of this axe measured out. Keeping the axe where I first made these dots, the next step is going to be lean this down, rotate without moving. Line it back up. I can go ahead and connect these two dots. Double checking myself there. Go ahead and connect these two dots, make a dot there and another dot approximately there. Trace this profile there and connect along there. However, we can't cut along these lines just yet. We need to incorporate a little bit extra space. If that's the middle, we need to incorporate a little bit of extra space paralleling that line. And now it's going to be shaped like that, so you can get the axe out. Alrighty, so the next step here is to trace out our center line. And then I'm going to fold in half along that line. So we can go ahead and cut out our pattern that we've drawn on one half and accomplish both halves of the pattern with one cut. But first, I want to put a snap around here, so I'm going to leave a bit of extra material somewhere around here. Alrighty, so if I want a piece that can go as a snap like that, if that makes sense. So if there's a button here and you could snap it closed like that, it would be shaped approximately like that. We're leaving it a bit fat now because I don't have a button to hand to test. We can always double check with the axe, but no, we want it going up a bit more that way. So we're actually probably going to shape it a bit more like that. Perfect. Go ahead and finish cutting out our pattern. There we go. So our template is done, but we need to go ahead and cut one more piece. We need to go ahead and cut a template for our welt here. Alrighty, so I need a piece that's this equivalent. So I can go ahead and trace go ahead and cut that out. And then give it one final check-see on the actual axe. Perfect, fits well. The bottom corner seems to be covered by our welt, so that's why we have that little corner on there to cover this so it doesn't pop out of the sheath like that. You don't want it to pop out the bottom. But it's looking together, fit together, so I think we can transfer our pattern to the leather. Brilliant. Next piece. Alrighty, so I've got all my pieces cut out. And in addition to this piece of the welt, I'm going to add a couple extra pieces of different colored leather on either side just to give it a little bit of character. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together first, and then I'll glue these into the front, and then we'll get ready to stitch it all together. Alrighty, so next we're going to just keep fitting it together. Putting this piece in. Gonna go ahead and start thinking about doing the final glue up. So to do that, I gotta tack it in place with some clips. All pinned up. And now the test. It's a bit tight. But she fits. Gonna go ahead and start gluing just a little bit. Alrighty, now that we have this thing glued together, I'm going to go ahead and put some stitching in just to reinforce the glue and make everything a little bit more sturdy. I have a small awl here that I'm going to use to just go ahead and punch a pilot hole on either side. That way I don't have to force a needle through several layers of leather. It'll just speed up the job of stitching it together and make my life a lot easier in the long run. But before I do that, I'm going to do a quick size check, make sure I don't have to make any final adjustments. And if I pull the sheath up this way, the bottom edge here can't pop out at all, which is good. Fits like a glove. This first one is an important one. Makes this beard section much stronger. And I'm going to stop there because I have a plan for this spot right here. Flipping over to the other side, making sure with each one that it lines up evenly. Now that I've got all of these holes punched out, I'm going to go ahead and force a needle through just to make sewing easier. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just do a whipping stitch all the way through, probably about 5 passes through, probably count my passes to keep it consistent so it looks nice and organized, and this will take a moment, so I will get a needle threaded up here and we'll get to it. Alrighty, we are back at it. I got the stitching in, and the next step is just to go ahead and add the snap, the closure here. So I've got your typical 4-piece snap. There we go, that'll give us plenty of space to get our finger under that flap. Push down to mark it. Alrighty, slot that in there. Got a piece of cardboard. I like to cover that just so we don't scratch or damage it. Keep everything looking nice. We have our punch tool, and I'm going to use the axe itself as a hammer. Straight down, give it a blow. A few more for good measure. That's not too dented, but it's nice and sturdy. I take this one, the flat side that fits right in there, and give her a light tap. Smooth all those edges out. Alright, now I'm going to throw that on there. To get our measurement for the other side. Press that down, mark it in the leather. Boom, there we go. Gonna put a hole here at the top. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, a friend of mine lost his axe sheath for his small forest axe, and it dawned on me that black isn't going to stand out much better than the original brown color if you happen to drop it on the ground. So I'm going to put a bit of high visibility paracord through this hole as a bit of a lashing loop, and it'll be orange, high visibility, and there's a couple different colors of reflection in this cord as well, hopefully helping us see it at night. First, I have to get the cord through this hole, however. Melting a bit always helps. We'll throw one of my favorite knots in there. Go ahead and make sure your ends are equal. Make a loop for your typical overhand. Once through, twice through, pull. Alrighty, one of the last things I like to do is to put a small piece of gear tape over the inside rivet here, just to keep the metal rivet off the metal of my axe. Don't get me wrong, the axe metal, the high carbon steel of the axe is much harder than the rivet and button I'm using here. I just don't want it to scratch, mostly for aesthetic purposes. So we'll go ahead and boom. Alrighty, so there it is, you guys. Rough and ready, nothing fancy. Pretty easy to cobble together. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there using this particular axe, and I'm sure my friend is not the only one to have lost his axe sheath or mask, whatever you want to call it. So knocking one together, like I said, pretty straightforward, no frills, nothing fancy. Probably took about 4 hours, all things considered. The stitching was the longest part, but nice fit, it's on there well. The toggle helps to, you can clip it onto things when you're using the axe, and hopefully the high visibility will help keep it in sight. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you on another one.